you also got the point of Canelo at light heavy, bruv. I mean, we got some Bivol and Bertabiev, bruv.
Oh, I don't think he'll move up though. I don't think he will move up.
Bruv, I want those are the two fights I want to see in it, because I think those, bruv, you know us as boxing purists, bruv. Like you want to see those fights, bruv.
Spartans, what is your profession?
Yes, people, another edition of Knightz and the Roundtable Discussions where we discuss all sports all the time. Got my guy Tooth with me. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, bruv. It's good to be back, bruv. Long time.
I'm telling you, bro. It's been a minute since we jumped on. Bruv, I can't remember the last time you and I have been on.
Trust me, bro. The funny thing is, bruv, the people watching are thinking like, yo, what the fuck happened, bruv? We took a long hiatus, man. But we're back. We are back, bro.
I'm telling you, we're back from the sabbatical, bruv.
Trust me, bruv.
We're back from banishment. But yeah, people, you know what time it is. You know when Tooth is on, our Nate Diaz of dentistry, our MMA connoisseur. You know what time it is. But it's something a little bit different. It's not just going to be UFC. It's fight talk. So we're going to be talking about all combat sports from MMA to boxing. We're going to mash it up, get it in there, and just be covering a variety of different topics. But as usual, people, before we start, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get them likes up, get them subscriptions up, and all that good stuff. And don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. The links will be in the description. But yes, people, it is fight talk. There's been so much going on that we need to cover over the past couple of weeks. And where better to start than this weekend, just gone past, Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Goat Scruff for the super-middleweight title, and 8th round TKO stoppage. You might as well call it stoppage because he stopped on his stool. Tooth, bro, what do you think of the fight? I know you were celebrating in the group chat, but just tell us what you were thinking about how the fight went, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm happy for Canelo. I think he peppered him. I know a lot of people had Billy Joe up on the scorecards.
It makes sense.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I could see why. I could see why. I mean, he was doing a lot of sticking and moving, but for me, the way I saw it, man, Canelo was giving him. Do you know what I mean? He was giving him that beating that you give to a piñata on like a 8-year-old Mexican kid's boyfriend, a fucking birthday, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was giving him a fucking beating, fam. He was giving him a beating, bruv. And as far as the power shots go, Canelo all the way. That ring was the size of a fucking Olympic-sized swimming pool, bruv.
It was massive. Who sanctioned that? Who wanted that?
Billy Joe, bruv.
Yeah.
Billy Joe.
Because I know they had an argument about it, apparently.
Yeah, well, it made no fucking difference in the end, bruv. Do you know what I mean? That ring was as big as the stadium, fam. Fam, you could have put Billy Joe's caravan in there, Tyson Fury's caravan in there, had a fucking gypsy barbecue in there, and you still could have... You still could have had enough space for the fight, bruv. Do you know what I mean? That ring, bruv, that is the biggest ring I've ever seen, bruv. I don't think I've seen a ring bigger than that in my life, fam.
That is crazy. I can understand why, because his whole thing was, as you said, stick and move. He wants to circle around, keep his distance, work on the combinations. But, bro, as you said, it just didn't work. Canelo was coming through with the power shots. Don't get me wrong. I think that Billy Joe surprised me. And I'll say why. One, because he lasted so long. But two, it looks like he did his homework. I mean, I know you remember the Floyd fight, but that was just a masterclass. But even the fight that Canelo had against Lara, he struggled with a southpaw and he struggled with the combinations and stuff. So it looked like he did his homework, but he just wasn't good enough.
No, he wasn't, man. And, you know, all that talk about I'd rather die in there, and, you know, when Daniel Dubois had to take the knee and Kell Brook took a knee, and, bro, for some reason, all these English fighters, bro, they're all like getting their eyeballs fucked up and getting their jaws broken. Like, bro, there's something wrong with us, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're just built weaker, man.
It's crazy because, like, obviously you said it, like, obviously Billy Joe, it was his orbital. I think he broke his cheekbone as well. With that power shot. Obviously Kell Brook when he fought Triple G, and then Errol Spence did his other eye, innit?
Yeah. Errol Spence fucked up his other eye. Daniel Dubois against Joe Joyce.
Oh my days, bro! I still can't forgive. I still can't forgive Dubois for losing to that guy, bro.
Do you know what I mean? But it's ironic, isn't it, man? That he was talking shit about Dubois, and then, you know, he quit on the stool as well.
That's it. Karma.
It is, isn't it, man? And masterclass from. I mean, again, it's one of those things where you can call it a masterclass from Canelo, but at the same time, was it really? Do you know what I mean? Was it?
I don't think so. I think we've seen better performances. I think Canelo just did what he had to do because I think he knew he was just better, and he knew that Billy Joe didn't have any power to phase him, so he could just walk through, and eventually he knew he would catch him, and that's what happened. But for you, Canelo, he's called out, I think it's Caleb Plant, some guy with a belt for no reason, another guy with a belt for no reason.
Bro, that's disrespectful, bro. That's my boy, White Chocolate, bro.
bro, listen, like I went through this guy's resume, bro. I'm just like, bro, seriously.
Bro, he's White Chocolate, bro. He's the only white boy that can box like a black boxer, bro. Trust me.
But Canelo's called him out. I mean, that fight has to take place. Just let Canelo become undisputed and call it a day, really. Or but make a case for your boy Plant, bro.
Oh, bro, there really isn't one other than undisputed, which I don't necessarily think will be the best fight, but Canelo will sell that fight. Obviously.
Yeah, of course.
He doesn't even need to say anything. He will fill up a stadium. I don't think Al Heyman and the PBC man then will throw Caleb Plant in there with him. But it just needs to happen, doesn't it? It's just a formality. Just let him unify, let him become undisputed, and then once that's out the way with.
I know where you're going.
Exactly, bro. Once that's out the way with, we're kind of done with mediocrity, and you know what I mean, just making fights for the sake of winning belts, and like you said, these paper belts, these paper champs, which I don't think Caleb is. But I mean, Caleb's fought some good guys. He's fought that Venezuelan dude, Ustagui, the guy that I'm not sure if you remember, he fought Andre Dirrell. And then after the fight, Andre Dirrell's uncle came in and sucker punched him.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, there was a warrant out for his arrest. Bro, that was mad.
Man was on the run, bro.
Trust me, Ustagui I rate. Caleb Plant is decent, man. He's definitely got skills. He's got some skills that may pose problems for Canelo, but not any more than what Billy Joe caused Canelo. Like, do you know what I mean? Just like a bit of a irritation, a bit of a nuisance, like sticking and moving, being slick. Canelo has always traditionally had difficulties with guys that can move and dance and be slick. Lara, Floyd, do you know what I mean? Those sort of guys, southpaws.
Even your boy Queen Khan had him for a couple early rounds, bro.
Hey, listen, bruv, yeah. You man disrespect the king way too often, bruv. Yeah. Khan gets, bruv, do you know what, yeah? As much as Khan has been ridiculed, blood. When you look at it unbiasedly, bruv, you got to put some respect on my man.
Fuck off, man.
You got to. Bruv,
get out of here, bruv.
Bruv, this guy has just been unnecessarily thrown under the bus
No chance, bro. No chance, bro. You got knocked. You got hit one way and you fell the other, bro, against Prescott.
And he's hurt. There's a shot, and he's another huge left, and down goes Amir Khan again. Oh, he's all over the place.
And you didn't go back for him. Danny Garcia, same thing. I don't want to hear nothing about Queen. This ain't even a Queen Khan show, bro. This guy's doing up reality TV now.
Yeah, fair enough, bro. Fair enough. But then again, your boy Conor Benn is calling him out. So
no, bro. I watched that, bro. I'm just like, bro, anyone that calls out Queen Khan you're wasting your time. Like, look how long Kell Brook was chasing him for. Like, just stop calling this guy out, bro. He's not coming out of retirement.
But circling back to what we were saying about after he gets Caleb Plant out the way, it's like, well, it's only like the sort of names that you want to see against Canelo that are left, aren't they? So Triple G, do you know what I mean?
Andrade has been obviously telling at the press conference as well.
Exactly, Andrade and.
But then you also got the point of Canelo at light heavy, bruv. I mean, we got some Bivol and Bertabiev, bruv.
Oh, I don't think he'll move up though. I don't think he will move up.
I want those are the two fights I want to see in it, because I think those, bruv. You know us as boxing purists, bruv. Like you want to see those fights, bruv.
But I don't. Do you know what, man? I think I would love to see that. But before he does, I think there's too much unfinished business in and around the middleweight division, bro.
What, with Triple G?
Charlo fight. Yeah, Charlo
fight.
Yeah,
Charlo as well, yeah.
You know what I mean? The Charlo fight, which I think he will cause a lot of problems for Canelo. Andrade fight, Triple G, Trilogy. And again, I know the ship has sailed, but it's just one of those things where you just want to see it. Do you know what I mean? The first two fights were definitely exciting, definitely competitive. Do you get what I mean? Triple G caused him problems. And just for the sake of seeing it, just for the formality of knowing they had a fight, they had a rematch. Both fights were so good, you just need to have the trilogy. Similar to the whole Pacquiao-Marquez thing. Like, even though Pacquiao won the first two fights.
Questionably.
Yeah, on paper, of course, I agree. I completely agree. Even though Pacquiao won the first two fights, there was still that need to have the trilogy, the demand to have the trilogy, and then eventually the
Marquez got the job done.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's too much unfinished business for Canelo in and around the middleweight division. If he really wants to challenge, of course, he can move up to light heavy and fight one of those guys, but I don't think Joe Smith, Bivol, or Beterbiev are going to be as I don't know how. Like, Kovalev's my boy, bruv, and I don't mean to disrespect him, but they're not going to lay down as easily as Kovalev, man.
Nah. Listen, I honestly believe Beterbiev beats him.
Yeah,
I think Bivol gives him a good fight.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about Joe Smith, so you have to comment on that one.
Joe Smith's legit, man. Joe Smith's legit. He's not respected as much as he should be, and he's lost a few fights as well. He lost to Sullivan Barrera, who's legit Cuban boxer, and as we all know, the Cuban Academy, like those guys are nothing to fuck with. But Joe Smith is strong, powerful, technically sound, can box, can punch, can move forward, can fight off the back foot. Very underappreciated. You know, he doesn't really get the hype he deserves. He's a bad matchup for him as well. But those three guys, I don't think they'll lay down as easily as Kovalev. And the reason why I say lay down as easily as Kovalev was because, you know, the two Andre Ward fights.
Yeah.
You know, the first fight, I think he was clearly winning the first half of the fight. And then he just took his foot off the gas.
Off the gas, yeah, 100%.
Close. And in the second fight, it's similar to a Billy Joe thing where, do you know what I mean? Did you really want to continue the fight? But you're just kind of looking for an escape or an easy way out. Only he'd be able to answer that question. But that's why I think Kovalev kind of late, like again against the Canelo in the Canelo fight. I think he just gave up. He was just looking for a way out. And he was doing good in that fight as well. He had a few.
I know.
Fight. Do you know what I mean? Again, obviously, the judges' scorecards will never reflect that because I feel like, you always kind of got to keep your best assets' interest at heart. Do you know what I mean? So even those sort of tight rounds, those swing rounds, they're always going to give it to Canelo on paper. But as a spectator watching it, you're like, shit, did he win that round? Is he up on the scorecards? And that's what I think with the Billy Joe thing. Like, I can understand why some people had Billy Joe up on the cards. If that's what you were scoring the fight by, sticking and moving and dancing and laying the jab, landing the jab and being slick, then yeah, I could see why you had Billy Joe up on the scorecards. But yeah, I don't know what certain people were watching. In my head, Canelo pretty much won every round, maybe lost one round. Do you know what I mean?
I gave Billy Joe a couple. But I didn't have him up on the scorecards. That's one thing I didn't have. I don't see how people had him up on the scorecards, but I did give him a couple rounds up until the stoppage. But just on a final point, Billy Joe, obviously he's due to have surgery.
Yeah.
Where does he go from here? Does he try? He's not going to try and get a rematch. I'm sorry, he cannot. So does he go down the route of? There is another rematch that he needs to have, and that is with Eubank Jr.
Your boy, yeah, for real.
Bruv, Mr. Uppercut himself, bruv. Like, does he go down that route and say, all right, cool, let me fight Eubank Jr. again? Because obviously it wasn't a split decision. Billy Joe won the first half of the fight. Eubank Jr. started fighting too late. Is that the next fight for him to have?
Yeah, but I don't think it will be immediately. I think, he's going to go back. You remember when he got popped for Osterine or whatever fucking ped he was on, or whatever banned substance he was on. He went to fight in these kind of like really low rank guys. Like he went on a bum bashing tour, basically, similarly to like Tyson Fury when he came back. So I think he's gonna have a few tune-up fights, and then eventually he will have a fight which is, let's say, big on a local level, similar to the James DeGale and Chris Eubank fight. You know, them ones there where no one else really gives a fuck about it, but it just makes good viewing on ITV on a Saturday night. Right?
Man said ITV. All right, bruv, ITV stopped doing their pay-per-view nonsense,
bruv. They had it, bruv. They had it popping for a while, bruv. They had your boy and my boy, Adrian Broner, fam.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
AB, bruv.
That's your boy. Stop trying to tell people he's my boy, bruv.
Bruv, listen, that's our boy.
Bruv, he's a rich journeyman. I told you already.
I'm telling you, bruv. AB is our boy. To all our fans out there, let's get this straight, bruv. We're not taking no AB hate out here, bruv.
All the hate. Bring it all, bruv. Guy is a bum.
Bruv, me and TJ are about billions over here, yeah? Listen, bruv, that fight with Pacquiao was decent, though. I'm surprised ITV won the rights to show that. That was decent.
It was a decent fight.
What was the post-fight interview, bruv? You remember?
I beat him. I won.
What did you think about the fight?
I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. I controlled the fight. He was missing. I hit him clean more time. I beat him.
That's what I mean, bro. How could you not love AB, bro, man? We about billions out here, bro. So all our fans watching this, make sure you show AB some love in his next fight, bro.
Bro, honestly. But final point, just because we brought up Eubank Jr., he's been calling out Triple G as his next fight, also been linked to Kell Brook. Don't know why. But Eubank Jr. versus Triple G. One thing I can say is that from the beginning, he's been calling out Triple G. He said he's got the weapons to beat him.
Don't believe that bullshit.
Oh, no, I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's what he said. from the beginning. It's not one of them ones where if there's one fighter's name that he is called out consistently, it has been Triple G. Don't get me wrong. I just think it's a smokescreen because he really doesn't want it with Triple G.
It is, bro. Because if he really wanted that fight, they were meant to fight. And then he pulled out like a month or 2 months before the fight.
Were they?
Yeah, bruv. That's when the Kell Brook. Me, bro. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bruv. That's when Kell Brook stepped up. He went up 2 weight classes to fight Triple G. And that was because the fight with Amir Khan fell through because Amir Khan went up 2 weights to fight Canelo. But initially, Chris Eubank was meant to fight Triple G, bro. Now he's like, you know, he's not really going anywhere in his career. He's not become that sort of star or a title holder that many people.
Bro, they made up a belt for him. I didn't even know it existed, bro.
What is it? IBU or
IBO?
IBO.
I was like, where did that belt come from?
Fam, you know that belt looked so plastic, yeah? Fam, I swear, bro, that belt looked so plastic. Like, I'd be ashamed if I had that. You know what I mean? But I've seen amateur belts that look better than that belt, bro.
Man said he's seen belts on WWE look more legit, bro. That John Cena belt looked more legit, bro.
Fam, I swear, this belt looks so swag, bro. It looks so bad. I wouldn't even be carrying that, fam. I wouldn't even be carrying that around.
No, it was ridiculous. But yeah, we'll see what happens with all those boxers. Hopefully, well, Canelo Plant has to be a next fight. I'm sorry, just give him don't even fight. Just give him the belt, undisputed, and then Canelo, you either go back to your unfinished business or go up to light heavy, which we all want to see because those fights right there are real fights where we're like, I don't know who's going to win that fight. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to switch over to the UFC. Recently had a fight card, Jiri versus Reyes. Yeah, mad.
Bro, I will give you a tenner if you can pronounce his surname, fam.
Bro, you know I'm not doing that, bro. Bro, Jiri is what I'm calling him, and that's where it's gonna stop, bro. But what was it? It was spinning elbow, innit? If I remember correctly.
Yeah. It was 3 elbows, bro. So he got him up against the cage in close range, threw an elbow with his left, threw an elbow with his right, and then on the momentum of the right elbow, he span round with the left elbow and caught him flush.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, slept him. Like Reyes was yeah, man, he planted, bro.
Because Reyes was the favorite, no?
Yeah, he was. He was. Reyes was favorite. And yeah, Jiri is a relative newcomer. Like, he'd only had 1 fight in the UFC up until that point against Volkan Oezdemir, who he also finished. And Volkan was also a title challenger, you know, when he had his little brief run of back-to-back victories, and then they gave him a title shot against DC, and then DC like just finished him.
Is Oezdemir, is that the tall one?
Yeah, the tall, bold one.
Yeah.
The guy that looks like a fucking walking penis, bro.
Oh no. No.
Oh my God, blood.
Bruv, like there's no other way to describe him, bruv. Like his head looks like a helmet, the rest of his body looks like the shaft. You get what I mean? But yeah, blood. Yeah, so we finished him. And given the fact that Oezdemir just came off a very close loss to, I got the Serbian dude's name, bro. Rakic.
Okay.
Rakic. And up until that point, Rakic was like the sort of hype in the light heavyweight division. He was making some noise. But his fight against Oezdemir was very underwhelming because Oezdemir and him had a very close fight. And it wasn't underwhelming because of performance. It was just sort of a dead fight. Do you know what I mean? There was not much happening. So the fact that Prochaska came in and finished Oezdemir, he kind of stole all the win. Like he was the new, you know,
new kid on the block.
Yeah, exactly, bruv. So I like the fact that they put him up against Reyes straight away, who was another title contender, ex-title contender. Arguably, some people say he beat Jones.
No, he didn't.
Do you know, I'm not going to go there.
No, he didn't.
But,
These people need to stop lying to themselves. Bones won that fight, hands down.
Oh, God. Well, some people, do you know what, blood? Some people will say Jones fans need to stop lying to themselves, man. Personally, I did have Jones winning that fight, but Jesus was that close, bro.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
it was.
It was. Like nobody knew going into the final round, and when they were about to announce the scorecards, nobody knew. Do you know what I mean? It was that.
I was nervous.
Trust me, it was one of them ones, bro. So, and then unfortunately, he got knocked out by Jan in the follow-up title fight. So, you know, they put him up against someone legit, man. They put him up against someone legit.
Where did Jiri? Where was he before? Was he in Bellator?
Nah, he was right before he came into the UFC. He was in Rising, which is an organization in Japan.
Okay,
just full of C-tier steroid using. Do you know? Maybe even C tier, because you know obviously you got your A tier, which is UFC, B tier, which is Bellator, and then C tier would be like One Championship and Rising FC, and then D tier would be like PFL and those organizations. But yeah, once you go below Bellator, it's literally like, you know, you can't really trust the sanctioning, you can't trust the drug testing. But to be fair, like his record was legit, man. His record, like every single fight he won, he finished. Every single one of them. Every single fight. Even the 2 fights that he had in the UFC were all finishes. So he was a force to be reckoned with. He wasn't mediocre. He had talent, and his style as well. I've said this before, man. You don't need to look at a punching bag to know if someone's good. The guy had talent. He was wild. He was vicious. And he transferred that style over to the UFC. In fact, the UFC had tried to sign him previously, and he rejected because he said himself, look, I'm not ready. And when I come over to the UFC, I want to make a big splash. I want to make noise. I'm trying to go for that title. And he's, you know, his prophecy is coming true to some extent.
Yeah, he's done that.
I think he did have a few fights in Bellator, but that was way early in his career. Like nothing notable. You know what I mean? Nothing like notable, just maybe a few undercard fights here and there. But yeah, I've been following my man for some time, and I'm glad to see his you know, it's paying off.
Of course, 100%. But with as you said, he's come in and he's made a massive splash in the UFC, stopping Reyes.
And you know what else, bruv? Just to wrap up on Jiri, bruv.
Yeah.
Like he's also got personality for days, bruv.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like you can see him becoming a fan favorite. Like he's got character, that little haircut that he's got going on. I was thinking of doing the same, bruv. Do you know what I mean? I was thinking, like, do you know what I mean? Some warrior shit, bruv, some samurai shit. But yeah, he's got big things coming. And even if he doesn't win a title, even if he loses a few fights, he's always going to be one of those fighters that you're going to love to watch. Similar to like Yoel. Like he's just, you can tell he's lovable. Do you know what I mean? Win or lose, he comes out to put on a show. So
of course. In terms of Jiri, obviously we know that Jan has said that he's fighting Glover next. Yeah. So for Jiri, he's beaten Reyes.
Yeah.
Who do you put him in there with next?
Well, Dana said that whoever won the fight between Reyes and Jiri, they're gonna have the next title shot.
Oh yeah, but until then, like, does he take another fight whilst he waits for Glover and Jan to fight?
It's a tough one. I would say if there was a fight to make, it would have to be between him and Rakic.
Okay.
It will have to be between them two. Simply because those two are now the new breed, the new blood, the fresher light heavyweights in the division. Unfortunately, it seems like Reyes' peak is slowly it was fast-lived. You know what I mean? Reyes' peak was fast-lived, and now hopefully he can come back from it. I'm not saying he can't, but bro, you have to imagine, like, you've come off a very sour defeat to John Jones, where arguably you could have won that fight, and then you've just gone and got yourself knocked out viciously on 2 occasions. The first vicious knockout, man had you doing the stanky leg all across the fucking octagon, and then the second knockout, man made you sleep with your dick in your hands. Do you know what I mean? You just gotta wonder, like, psychologically that can affect the fight.
There's 2 vicious knockouts that Reyes has received, and it's just like, bro, how much more damage can you really take?
Exactly, and you're coming off the back of 3 heartbreaking, devastating losses. Now, normally in the UFC, you know what that means, bro. You know what I mean? But again, he's still talented enough to run through a lot of the other guys in light heavyweight, because a lot of the other guys at light heavyweight are all aging, fading. You know what I mean? They're coming down, they're winding down their careers. Even to a certain extent, you can say Jan, because Jan's been in the game for long. You know, he's in his mid to late 30s now. Glover's in his 40s, I think, or definitely.
Yeah, Glover's in his 40s, bro.
You know what I mean? Anthony Smith, late 30s as well. All these guys are just like...
Yeah, so, like, I mean, the crowd, and obviously Bones is up at getting ready for heavyweight, so there's a spot for the new blood to come through and try and make a mark and try and get these titles off these old guys. And Jiri fits the bill, but we're gonna see what happens with him. Devastating knockout, man. Fucking hell, people! If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and look at it. It was beautiful, but it was hellacious at the same time. But next up, obviously upcoming this weekend, UFC 262 lightweight title on the line. Oliveria versus Chandler. Obviously, Khabib has vacated. The titles, they're up for grabs. These 2 guys are going for it. Tooth.
What a card.
Got?
What a card. What a card. What a card.
Who you got, Chandler, Oliveira? Who you got?
What, straight off the bat like that?
I mean, you can break it down. But,
nah,
you know.
bro, it's tough, bro. It's tough. I love Chandler, bro, and I love Oliveira. I love them both, so it's not favoritism here. All
right. Do this. Don't tell me who you think's gonna win.
Yeah.
Just break it down for the people, because we haven't had a breakdown, but just break it down for the people where this fight will be won and lost.
Right. So on the feet, Michael Chandler is... all you have to do is just go watch his UFC debut against Hangman Hooker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Relentless forward pressure, heavy hand.
Was that 259?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his debut, bro. That was the same card where
Conor and
Poirier, exactly.
Yeah.
Heavy-handed, relentless forward pressure, chin made of granite, elite level wrestling, elite level grappling, and a former champion in Bellator several times. And despite his losses, he's come back meaner. Do you know what I mean? He's come back more vicious than ever. So those losses kind of ignited something in him to just better himself, and it's proven. Oliveira, on the other hand, is a really, really unorthodox striker, as we saw in the Tony Ferguson fight. And we know, like, bro, we're all Tony Ferguson fans here, bro. Tony Ferguson is the type of guy, and that's the meme, isn't it, bro? Tony Ferguson is the type of guy. But for real, bro, Tony Ferguson is the type of guy you don't want to get in a stand-up war with, bro.
Yeah.
You've seen what he has done to people, bro. Obviously, he's been on a decline as of late, but when you've been on a 13-fight win streak and been a veteran such as him, and you're obviously at some point, you're going to come up against another elite level fighter who's just going to do that to you. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't mean you're shit, but yeah, Tony Ferguson is not a guy that you want to be standing up with and fighting, because he's also got relentless forward pressure, unorthodox striking, can cut you, can touch you from anywhere. And Oliveira was like, fuck it, I can do that as well. So he was hitting him with all types of kicks, all types of punches, elbows. He didn't give a fuck. And the interesting thing about Oliveira's game is he doesn't mind if you take him down. That's what
I know. That's what he wants.
That's what he wants you to do. He wants you to take him down. That's why his striking is so crazy. That's why he will, as soon as the bell rings, he will run out and do a flying knee. He doesn't care if he gets taken down. He wants you to do that because his jiu-jitsu is just on a different level, bro. It is just on a different level. And I'm talking about jiu-jitsu that you can apply in MMA, because if you look at his record, he's got the most submissions in UFC history.
Well,
you get what I mean?
Well, just a little background on Oliveira, bro, because he's on an 8-fight win streak at the moment. Yeah. And 5 out of the 8 of them fights, he's won by submission.
Yeah. The Kevin Lee fight, before he fought Tony Ferguson, he fought Kevin Lee. And like that whole fight was just him inviting begging Kevin Lee, like, just take me down. I beg you, just take me down. Do you know what I mean? I've got something for you. And he just wrapped him up in a guillotine, choked him so badly, Kevin Lee started fighting the fucking referee, bro.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Like, it was one of them ones. And speaking of choking out someone so badly, bro, I got to give a shout out to Carsten Harris, bro. Did you see the fight, the choke that I put on the...
Oh, yeah.
The Guyanese brother that sent Christina Aguilera into the guy, bro. The guy's name is Christian Aguilera, bro. But come on, bro. It's just...
Man said he's just going to call him Christina.
Bro, do you know what I mean, bro? He choked the dog shit out of him, bro. He performed an exorcism on him, bro. So shout out to that Guyanese brother, bro. I think he's going to be a problem at welterweight. But anyway, back to Oliveira. Yeah. So it is difficult. Like, you can't see who's going to do what in this fight. I personally think that Oliveira will tap him. That's what I think.
Really?
I think Oliveira will tap him, bro. I think he's gone, and I could be wrong. This is just a prediction, but I'm just basing it off consistency. And not to say Chandler isn't consistent, but I feel like he fought in the last 8 fights, let's say in the last 8 fights, yeah, since you brought up the 8-fight win streak, Chandler has fought a few scrubs in there. Whereas Oliveira...
Oh, not Chandler. Oh, yeah.
Whereas Oliveira hasn't.
No, he's fought everybody.
Yeah, man has literally fought everyone.
Apart from Khabib, of course.
Exactly. And the thing is with Oliveira, he may have had 1 or 2 fights in there, but those guys were all UFC level fighters, man. Whereas Chandler, he fought guys like Primus, he fought guys like Benson Henderson. These are like Bellator's best, which are like, the Tesco bargain bin, bruv. Do you get what I mean? So, facts though, bruv. Facts, man. Who's looking out for fucking Benson Henderson, bruv? This ain't like 2010 anymore, bruv.
He's UFC reject, bruv.
Trust me, bruv. So, and the consistency for me goes with Oliveira, because there was always some doubt about whether he could perform on the big stage, whether he could do it against the big names. And I feel like he's overcome that mental block. I feel like he's overcome that sort of kryptonite in the Tony Ferguson fight and in the Kevin Lee fight. So I just think even if Chandler goes in there to grapple with him, I've seen Oliveira wrap people up in a guillotine choke from standing. And that's where I give Oliveira the edge over Chandler.
Question. Chandler's, I think one of the big differences in this fight that people are talking about is the fact that even though it was Bellator, Chandler's been 5 rounds. Oliveira's never been 5 rounds. So will that come into play? Will his cardio be an issue, especially if he wants someone to take him down and all the energy that he could exert? Will the cardio be a problem in the later rounds for Oliveira?
That's a good point. I wouldn't say Yeah, I mean, Oliveira has definitely trained for a 5-round fight because his fight with Kevin Lee was a main event fight. That was a 5-round fight. And, you know, I think at this level now, when you break into the top 5, your training definitely has to change because you know at any point you could be a main event. So you're right. As far as experience goes, Chandler definitely has that edge over him. And we haven't really seen Oliveira's cardio tested. That could be a factor, absolutely. That could be a factor. Or Chandler might just come out and spark him cold in the first round because Chandler does possess that sort of, like he did against Hangman, you know? But I just feel like if it's going to be a fight, and if one of those outcomes don't occur and it lands somewhere in the middle, I think Oliveira taps him because he can wrap him up from anywhere, bro. From anywhere. And that's what I think Chandler needs to be aware of and be cautious of. Whereas I don't feel like Oliveira needs to be cautious of it going into deep waters. I don't, because even if it does, if he lands on the ground, Oliveira can still pull a fucking triangle out of nowhere, bro. Do you know what I mean? And Oliveira's been hit by some heavy dudes as well.
I was going to ask that question. Do you think his chin will stand up against Chandler? But we know Chandler hits hard.
I think it should. I'm not going to say I think it will because, as I said before, there's been a history of Oliveira kind of flopping at this stage. But given the last 8 fights that he's been in, he hasn't really looked in any sort of deep trouble. You know, he hasn't really looked in any sort of he hasn't looked vulnerable to the point where you're like, damn, like he's regressing again. A good fight would have been Chandler versus Gaethje because they're almost like carbon copies of each other.
That would have been a good fight.
Them two are like literally twins, bro. So that would have been a beautiful war, bro. But I'm more than happy with this. The way I see this fight going is like crazy stand-up from Oliveira, crazy kicks from Oliveira, crazy flying shit from Oliveira, crazy elbows, really unorthodox striking from Oliveira, relentless forward pressure from Chandler, swinging heavy lever. And if it gets to any sort of grappling, of course, I think Chandler can take him down, not because Oliveira's wrestling defense is terrible. It's just because Oliveira would love that. You know, Oliveira would love that because that's where he can implement his strongest asset of his game, which is his jiu-jitsu. And just go on YouTube and look at a highlight reel of all his submissions. He catches people from anywhere. The Kevin Lee fight, bro. Kevin Lee went for a single leg takedown before they even hit the ground. He had already been choked out. So that's
mad. Oliveira's on smoke. And that's the final question before I ask you what round, right? Chandler's literally walked in from Bellator, obviously slept Hooker. If he then wins the lightweight belt, what does that mean in terms of the UFC going forward for someone that didn't work his way up through the ranks at the UFC, literally just came in from Bellator and said, thank you very much for the lightweight belt?
No, I respect it fully. It's almost like a Prochaska situation as well. It's almost like, bro, my man came from Rising, not even Bellator, bro. My man came from fucking Rising, bro. Like in Japan, when no one in the West watches that shit unless you're hardcore on this thing. So I respect it fully, bro. You know, you came, you saw, you conquered, period. And it was almost similar to like a Conor McGregor run where he came over from Europe, Cage Warriors, double champ. He just came over to the UFC and that was it, bro. It was onwards and upwards. It wasn't none of this hanging around and working your way up. It was like, nah, give me who you got and watch me like handle business. So, and Bellator's got some killers, bro. I'm not
disrespecting it.
Bellator, I mean, the thing is, Bellator, a majority of Bellator's fighters are over the hill, past it, UFC rejects, or just legends now. Do you know what I mean? Or to some extent, like Hall of Famers, legends, and shit like that. It is a retirement home in some sense, but they have got some serious guys there, like Pitbull in the lightweight and the welterweight division. Do you know? Pitbull's actually the current champion at lightweight, which was Chandler's
division.
When he was at Bellator, he lost to Pitbull. I think if Pitbull comes over to the UFC, he handles a lot of these guys as well. He takes care of a lot of these guys, bro. But no hate, no animosity, bro. This ain't this ain't tribal at all. This is true warrior samurai code shit, bro. Some Bushido shit. Like, I want to see the best versus the best. I don't care where they came from. I don't care what organization they were affiliated with. Like, I just want to see these guys fight. Ideally, if they could get Pitbull over, you know what I mean? If they can get some other guys over, it will be ideal. But obviously, those guys have to wait for their contracts to expire before they make any sort of moves.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
And I respect Chandler for making the jump, because Bellator were going to pay a lot of money to keep him. And he's been loyal to Bellator throughout his whole career. You know, Bellator made it. So, but at the same time, I understand, like, I think Bellator respect this decision. He's given so much to the company. He's gotten them so far as he could. He's been a champion. He's fought all the fighters that they put up against him. He's fought in all the tournaments and all the Grand Prix. It's like, he's done his service.
Yeah, of course. It's time to get paid properly.
Exactly. And it's the time to test free agency now. It's time to leave the nest, if you know what I mean.
100%, 100. Two.
Yeah.
You said Oliveira, what round? You said he's going to make him tap what round?
3, between 2 and 4. So right in the middle of the fight, yeah, bruv. Between 2, 3, and 4, bruv. 2, 3.
I'm gonna.
What do you think, bro? What's your thoughts on the fight, by the way? Who do you think? First of all, how do you see it playing out? Who do you have winning and what round, bro? Same question you asked me, fam.
I have Chandler winning.
Yeah.
I just. It's one of them ones, yeah, where I just believe. And don't get me wrong, I think Oliveira is a good fight. So unorthodox, so unpredictable. And as you said, like, listen, like, he'll lie down on the floor, brother, and say, "Come on, let's go."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? One of them ones. But I just have this feeling that Chandler's gonna get to him. I think Chandler's all-round game will be good enough to get to Oliveira. And as you said, I think, Oliveira on the big stage has frozen. And I know he's been on this 8-fight win streak, and I know that could be over, but with the crowd in as well, because his 2 best fights have come with no crowd, and that was Ferguson. Was it Ferguson and Lee? Were those last 2 fights? Yeah. So I think all of that, and I think Chandler will want to drag him into deep waters, because as I said, he hasn't been 5 rounds. So I could see Chandler doing him in the 4th. That's what my head's saying. My heart is saying Oliveira makes him tap in 2.
Real.
My heart is saying Oliveira makes him tap in 2, and that's just.
But you know what, man? I don't disagree, bro. I think it's one of those fights where, bro, it's so difficult to call, fam. It's so difficult to call, and that's what makes it such a fantastic fight, man. You want to make a bet? You want to make a little side bet?
No, I don't know. I'm not betting on this one.
Come on, bro.
I'm not betting on this one, bro. But if I'm gonna pick something, I'm gonna go Chandler in 4. But if Oliveira wins, I'll be ecstatic, mate, because I think he deserves it. I think he's worked his way up for it.
Yeah, this is a rematch in the making, bro. I think this is going to be a classic. I can guarantee you that much. I think this is going to be a classic, fam.
I think it's gonna be a great fight, bro. It's gonna be a great fight. We ain't got much time left, bro. Yeah, but we can't go without talking about
me versus you,
Ferguson, bro.
Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about me versus you.
No, it's not 262, bro.
It is. Oh no,
No.
you're right. It's 263. It's
Yeah.
263,
Bro, don't trust me. If it, you know, I would have spoken about that fight.
But I'm telling you, bro, recently you Jamaicans in the UFC have been winning on some big level, bro.
Shut up, bro. Listen, we're working hard.
Listen, call your boy Aljo, call your boy Uriah Hall, bro. Call these, bro. The only Jamo that I rate right now is Randy Brown, bro. The rest of them have been winning on some.
Leon Edwards has been disrespected, bro.
Hey, that's your title right there, blood. Listen, Jamaicans in the UFC, bro. Fix up, bro.
Listen, we're doing what we need to do to win, bro. It's not our fault that man them be breaking legs and cheating with illegal elbows and all the rest of it, bro.
Listen, bro, Leon Edwards, I predict some swag method of victory, bro.
The biggest joke is I love Nate, but Leon Edwards to do him because that's going to be a 3-rounder, isn't it? Yeah, I think Leon Edwards. I think it goes to decision, and Leon Edwards beats him at 3. But we'll talk about later.
Yeah, for real.
Can't go without talking about our boy Tony Ferguson, bruv.
Yeah, bro. Listen, he's fighting an Iranian dude, man, which is my boy.
Oh yeah,
bro.
So you can't even support man like Tony, bruv.
No, bro. For me, it's got nothing to do, bruv. Listen, man. At the end of the day, when it comes to this sport, you know it, bruv. Like football, you could pick your nationality, and every other like sport, you could pick your nationality, and to some extent, in combat sport, you root for your guy that comes from your home country. But it is such a brutal sport. It is such a sport where you are exposed for every mistake. That at the end of the day, it's like when you have two warriors like this come up against each other. I love both of them. Obviously, my heart wants Beneil to win because he's Iranian. But at the same time, bro, I've been watching Tony from day dot, bro. You know what I mean? I've been watching Tony and I have that, that love for him because I've been following him for so long. And I just want the best fight possible for both these guys. Tony obviously has been on a skid recently.
Okay. Is it 2 or 3 fight loss streak that he's on?
Isn't it? It's Gaethje and Oliveria.
Yeah.
And in both of those fights, he got absolutely terrorized.
Oh, it's horrible.
Something that we're not used to seeing from Tony. We're used to seeing him do that to people.
Because he's a madman.
Yeah, and Beneil is that kind of dude, bro. Beneil will come and terrorize people. He's had a few losses in his UFC career, but recently he's been on a nice run, bro. I don't know what he's changed, but he's revamped himself. He's come out. He's sparked people out.
Just talk to me a little bit. I don't know much about him. Just talk to me a little bit about him.
So Beneil came into the UFC being this very grappling heavy guy, as most Iranians are, because in Iran, the national sport is wrestling. Even though Beneil is a diaspora, he's like one of us, bruv. He's a refugee, bruv. He left Iran, he went to America, but in the Iranian culture, bruv, wrestling is the national sport, bruv. It is the national sport. You go look at the Olympics, we're always up there.
Yeah, always up there, yeah.
Always up there. We're up there with the Dagestanis and the Russians and the Americans, bruv, who are also the other 2 major leading countries when it comes to this sport. So, very wrestling heavy guy. But he was on the end on some viral knockouts, like my boy Edson Barbosa flying kneed him. And
I think I remember you sending that in the group.
Yeah, bruv. He put him to sleep ice cold. Ice cold. This was a few years ago. And since that loss, actually, he may have had one loss in between, but since that loss, he's come back and he's been knocking people out. Silly, bro. He knocked out a guy called Scott Holtzman. I think that's his name. I know his nickname. His nickname's stupid, bruv. His nickname's Hot Sauce. So that's the only way I remember his name.
Who the fuck gave him that?
I'm telling you, bruv, this is the Tesco bargain bin of nicknames. Then he beat he knocked out another vicious dude. He knocked out another dude viciously, who was also a vicious dude called Drakkar Klose, who was this up-and-coming prospect that is, he was putting people on notice because he was such a difficult opponent to beat. And he was just running through all these other prospects and all these other guys. and he put him to sleep with another viral one-punch finish. So Beneil's found his form now. He's found his style, and it will be interesting to see if he can level up and do that against someone like Tony. And I think this is the perfect time for him to fight someone like Tony, because he's on his way up. Tony's
on his way down. Yeah.
And it's like, you know what I mean? Whoever wins this fight is obviously gonna reap the benefits of it. Tony will be put back into that sort of top 3, top 4 position, or Beneil may come and take his spot.
100%. If Tony loses this fight, surely someone has to be telling him this is it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like, where do you go if he loses this fight? Where's there to go? Like, you're then entering territory of damaging your legacy, even though he didn't get the lightweight belt.
That's the thing. Well, he did get the interim belt.
Yeah.
To be fair to him, when Conor and Khabib were out of the frame, he did get that run, and it was legit. I mean, as much as you call it an interim belt, like, no one will look at him as a paper champ.
No chance. No chance. He was just unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's a difficult position for him to be in, because, you know, it was so unlucky for him not to have that Khabib fight, and they tried to make that 5 times.
Yeah,
and that's what's going to be hanging over his head when it's all said and done. Is like, he never got the chance to fight Khabib, and, you know, he was cursed for that, because he took the Gaethje fight, he lost that, and then he got exposed by Oliveria. Part of me does agree with you. You know, it's a wrap now. You're losing to guys like Beneil Dariush, who are on the way up. That's no disrespect to Beneil. He's worked his ass off to get to here, and he's made the adjustments needed to become a top 5 fighter. So, you know, if you can't hang with those guys, these younger guys are coming up and taking your spot. I understand it's that old metaphor, isn't it? The young lion comes and takes out the old lion. Flip side of the coin.
Lion King settings, bruv.
Trust me, bruv. Simba Mufasa level, bruv. But at the same time, bruv, yeah, and I know a lot of people like to shit on Anderson Silva's legacy and, you know, discredit him for not being the GOAT because he went on far longer than he should have. But at the same time, you have to understand, like, some people are just born warriors, bruv.
Yeah, of course.
They're going to fight until they really can't fight it, until diabetes kicks in, until arthritis kicks in. Do you get what I mean? They're going to be fighting till they really physically can't get out of bed anymore. And Tony does kind of fit that mold. He does.
He does.
Do you know what I mean? He does have that spirit of a samurai. He does have Bushido warrior code in him. So I wouldn't be mad if he goes on and, as you say, or as many people would look at it, as damaging his career, or, you know, becoming vulnerable to, like, long-term brain injuries. But in his head, he signed up for this for life. I could see if he takes that avenue and does an Anderson Silva, where, who knows, he might go on a 7-fight losing streak. Yeah, that's because, again, like, the shit that he thought would work when he was younger is just not working now that he's much older. Like, his speed, his athleticism, it's just, you know what I mean? It's starting.
Those are the first things to go.
Yeah,
especially in any sport, not just UFC. In any sport, your speed and athleticism are the first things to go.
Yeah, and what brutal way to be exposed of that than in a sport like this. Do you know what I mean? To be fair, you can't even call it a sport, bruv. It's just savagery.
No, as I said, like,
it's fighting.
after them 2 leg breaks, those 2 leg breaks were the reason why it took me so long to get into UFC, bruv. Because I really don't want to be seeing that. But bro, we gotta wrap up.
Let's call it a day, fam.
Yeah, bruv. It's been an absolute pressure. People, this is what happens when we get to from we're talking fights, we can go on for ages. Do you know what I mean? Each and every guy that you see that comes on here, in whatever field they're in, we can go on for ages. It's just the knowledge and depth that we have for the sports that we love. But people, that is it from us. Another episode done. First episode of Fight Talk. Let us know what you think in the comments. First of all, let us know what you think about the format. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Let us know what you think about Canelo. Who should he fight next? Should he move up? Should he go back down to fight Triple G? Let us know about Chris Eubank Jr. and Benito Joe Saunders. Let us know about Jiri. Should he be the next one to get the title shot for the winner against Yarn and Glover? Should UFC 262 let us know who you think is going to win? Is it going to be Oliveria? Is it going to be Chandler? And if Tony does end up losing this fight, let us know what you think. Should he hang up the gloves, step out of the octagon, or is it like you said, he's got that warrior spirit and he's just going to keep going until he ends up in a morgue? Let us know.
And let us know. Don't even let us know, bro, because we already know what you know. But go out there and show AB some love, yeah. About
my days, bro. Don't show him no love, bro. Show AB as much hate as you possibly can. But people, before we go, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow us on our social media pages as well. Coming up, we're gonna probably
don't you dare say NBA talk, bro.
Nah. Coming up, we're gonna have the review of UFC 262. Loads of football talk coming up as we're coming up to the end of the season. We're gonna have our Prem picks for the next Hall of Fame. We're gonna have team of the seasons, player of the seasons, England squad picks, all sorts. And then, yes, we're going to have NBA talk eventually because we're getting closer to the playoffs. So that is going to come, but that's probably in a few weeks' time. And people, we got some special stuff coming for you in the off season. So much stuff. We're having a debate earlier about top 10 rappers alive of all time. So all that stuff, we're going to be moving away from sport in some of the podcasts. And we'll be talking about stuff that we love as well. But I want to say thank you very much to my guy, Tooth. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, bro, man. Always a pleasure, man. Can't wait for the next one, bro.
I know, I hear that. People, that's it from us. We shall see you very, very soon. Peace.